Thank God it's Friday. Hey there, Escalarians! What's up? Pam here, and this is CEU Friday Features.
Universidad Central.
CEO ka na, CEO ako.
For this new episode, we will be joined by a co-student leader from CEU Malolos, and we will be talking about pop culture. Wow, exciting! But as always, before we proceed, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Our featured Escolarian is a third year student from CEU Malolos MedTech Department. She is a consistent Dean's Lister who recently won in the concluded Miss ASEAN 2021 as the first runner-up. She is a beauty and brains for sure. Escolarians, let's welcome Tiffannie Macy Chan. Hi Tiffany. Say hi to our Escolarians.
Hi, Pam, and hello, Escalarians.
Wow, Tiffany, I think your name is quite familiar, no? Tiffannie Macy Chan. Do you know a person named Natalie Jessie Chan?
Yeah, actually, she is my sister.
Wait, I knew it kasi sobrang familiar ng name nyo. Mula pa lang sa first name hanggang sa last name, of course. Pares kayong Chan. And Escolarians, if you guys remember, we already met Natalie Jessie Chan on our third episode. She is a second-year student from CEU Malolos, meaning she's your younger sister, Tiffany.
Yes, she's my younger sister.
Wow, grabe naman ang Chan sisters. Talagang both very beautiful and inspiring. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Tiffany. How are you?
Actually, this sem is quite busy. Medyo maraming academic workloads and syempre, USC responsibilities natin. Pero, fighting.
Yes, fighting. I think challenging talaga ang third year. I mean, every year in college is challenging. Pero iba din ang workload for third year. So I hope you're doing great, Tiffany. And are you ready for our conversation for today?
Yes, I am so much ready.
Yes, because I am so excited for this conversation as well. Because first of all, we're both students. Ayan, makaka-relate tayo sa isa't isa. And we're also both Gen Zs and we're very much familiar with pop culture ideologies. Sabi nga nila, self-help is a big thing right now, right?
Yes, Pam. Sa ngayon kasi sobrang daming nangyayari and dapat alagaan din natin yung sarili natin.
I agree, but what I want to have in our conversation today is the toxic or unhealthy side of these pop culture ideologies that are being shown to us, unfortunately. But more than helping us, it is causing us more harm or pressure. So let's see what Escolarians think about this by playing the hashtag Escolarian. So Tiffany, are you ready?
I am so much ready, Pam, and keep the questions coming.
Ayan, ready na ready si Tiffany. So, let's now see our first Escolarian entry. The tweet says, the constant pressure of meeting other people's expectations is part of these toxic pop culture ideologies. This pressure is coming from our parents, relatives, from our community, etc. And I think this is very relatable, especially in the past few days. How about you, Tiffany? Have you experienced this?
Actually, at some point in my life, I feel like my parents pressured me, but habang lumalaki kasi ko, parang nare-realize ko na it's not them who had high expectations in me. It is actually myself and the people around me. Doon ako nape-pressure kasi parang, most of the time kasi communications would resolve everything between us and the parents. Like, maybe we are just thinking that they are expecting something from us, but the reality is, they only wanted us to do the bare minimum.
So, matanong ko lang, Tiffany, before ba, did your parents ever verbalize that you have to become a consistent top student or hindi naman?
Hindi naman. Well, being a consistent top student is for me, is an overstatement kasi, I feel sometimes kasi I'm also the typical student who would cram, who would procrastinate to meet the deadlines. Kaya parang pag nakikita ko na gano'n, sabi, parang, ako ba yun? Parang gano'n. Pero my parents, instead of pagalit, they would give me words of affirmations. Tapos dun ko unti-unti nare-realize na, hindi naman sila nag-expect ng something from me. Maybe I have high expectations in myself. Tsaka siguro, nadadala na rin ako ng pressure ng mga tao sa paligid ko na you have to be like that, you have to act like that, you have to be perfect. Parang ganun. Pero at some point, it will become unhealthy talaga and you have to consider yourself first.
Yes, always. And with those thoughts in mind, was there ever a pressure to you? How did you handle the pressure to always get these titles, in school? I think graduating valedictorian in elementary or being or graduating with honors in senior high. What do you feel? How did you deal with these pressures from yourself and from the people around you?
Actually, kapag nakikita nila ako na ganyan, ang sinasabi ko lang, hindi ko masyadong dinamdam siguro yung expectations nila sa akin kasi parang I do my best in everything that I do and then saka ko na lang i-look forward siguro yung mga success na if ever man na meron na ma-attain ko in the future kasi kapag nag-focus ako sa kanila ngayon parang makakalimutan ko na ito yung present ko ngayon. Ang makikita ko na lang is yung paano ako magiging successful. Parang Tiffannie Macy, do not add today on the list of your regrets. Parang ganun. Diba? Parang live in the moment tayo. Parang, yun.
Thank you so much for that. Now, sa present, kapag kunwari nada-down ka or sometimes you feel bad or during your hard and challenging days, how do you motivate yourself?
For me, in my case kasi most of the time, I take some time off. Like, atras talaga ako na hindi ako nagka-function ng maayos, mako-compromise yung gawain ko. So, better rest and then, tsaka na lang ako magsa-start ulit. And syempre, getting the overview of my life. Kasi meron naman talaga akong mga bagay na meron ngayon na I didn't even dreamt of. Like, who would have thought that I would join pageantries or who would have thought that an introvert would be at the forefront of the student body, di ba? Parang I only want to finish college and make friends, but this life is something more.
So yes, that's right. Resting or taking a break off or taking a step back will actually make you see kung gaano ba ka-importante yung nangyari ngayon and how you will move forward. So thank you for that, Tiffany. Now, Tiffany, that you've experienced all these pressures coming from yourself and from your environment, what have you learned about battling these things, which can be helpful for our Escolarians as well? Coming from the lens of a student leader and a top student, what can you say or what can you share to our fellow Escolarians?
As a third-year college student, what I learned in my journey is that the first person that I need to know is myself. Because if you do, you'll be able to know your boundaries, your limitations, and you will be able to easily admit that there are some things that you cannot do. And that's okay. Kasi meron talagang times na may-pressure tayo na gawin to para maka-reach ng greater heights and mas ma-attain yung vision natin. But then, it will become toxic at some point. Kasi diba, parang if you keep on doing things but keep on failing repeatedly, you will lose your confidence and you will doubt yourself. Kaya parang, when that time comes, I hope you back off and do things where you are good at. It kind of refuel your energy kasi to keep on pushing through. Your motivation, di ba? And then second, siguro, have that courage. Courage to say no, courage to admit that you have your lapses, and courage to stand on what you think is right. Because as a student leader, we will receive lots of criticisms. And we can always have the things that we tried fighting for. And we sacrifice hours of rest to keep the organization going. Though it is frustrating na hindi mo magawa kung ano yung mga gusto mo. Pero kasi, you love what you're doing. You cannot give it up easily naman. So, ayun, I hope that if you really want to be a student leader, isa lang yung wish ko. I hope you always stand by our fellow students because they need you. They need you to amplify their voices and, to stand up for them.
We always go back to our roots, to the main reason why we continue to be student leaders despite the restless days, the sleepless nights. So, thank you for sharing that, Tiffany. But I'm very curious about this. How do you manage to say no? Di ba, mahirap mag-no. Lalo na ngayon na parang kailangan mo gawin lahat despite everything. How do you know when to say no? And how do you deliver your no's to the people you're conversing with?
Siguro depende din sa environment. Kasi sa USC naman, maintindihan naman nila knowing the academic workloads, di ba? I can commit to this job because it will take so much from me and I have to focus on this. But I promise, nababawi ako. Parang gano'n na, hindi ko muna tatanggapin yung job na to kasi baka ma-compromise lang yung quality. And ayaw ko na i-meet lang yung deadline with compromised quality ng mga outputs ko. Alam niyo yun, yung parang, like sa events, Pam, alam mo yan. Alam mo yan sa mga events, di ba? Meetings after meetings after meetings. Tapos may mga deadlines tayo. Parang hindi mo maa-attempt na iyon yung ibibigay mo sa Escolaran community. Di ba parang, wait lang. Baka meron sa inyo na may bakante, pwede po papasalo, tapos babawi na lang po ako sa inyo next time. Parang ganun. In respectful way naman of saying no.
And it's very important to have a healthy environment talaga in our academic community. And thankfully, here in CEU, I think we've experienced all these people who understand our boundaries always. Now, Tiffany, let's go to our second Ascolarian entry. Here you go. The tweet says, "What if you are pursuing the wrong dream?" Grabe, napakabigat naman nun. Ang hirap din tanggapin na may wrong dream tayo. At may wrong dream ba talaga tayo? But of course, to relate to that tweet, there's a particular article from Mark Manson's website. I think if you guys know Mark Manson, he is the author of the New York Times best-selling book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Yan. He's also a blogger and internet entrepreneur. And from here, he says, why some dreams should not be pursued. Society and pop culture often encourage you to follow your dreams with passion and persistence. But what if you have the wrong dream? Grabe, Mark Manson. So, is that relatable for you, Tiffany?
I don't think we can ever have wrong dreams because I believe that all of them are valid. And when you dream, there is no certain criteria or judgment. You just think of the things that would make you happy during that time. Well, in my case kasi, just to give you a context, I once saw myself establishing buildings for others, engineer. But then in life, as we progress, di ba, parang there are series of realignments, there are challenges that would come along the way. So with that, our ideas would change, our happiness would change, or even our adaptive mechanisms, or even the way we live our lives. But that doesn't mean that you are in the wrong dream. That only means that you are growing. I realized that maybe it is just the hype. Kasi people are believing in me na kaya mo maging civil engineer kasi magaling ka sa math, gano'n. Tapos sabi ko, parang meron kasi tayong mindset na I'm good at this, so I will be successful doing these things. Though it might work for some, but it was not always the case, diba? So that time, I assessed myself because there are questions that really stuck me, like, would I be happy? Would I really be happy if I pursue this? And if ever na I do not become successful, can I rise above it? Parang doon, sabi ko, parang kapag tiniko tong path na to, sa success ko lang ako nakafocus. Pero hindi ako nakafocus dun sa mismong journey. Parang dun, it kind of rekindle my motivation to pursue medicine. Kasi siguro, nag-worry lang ako na mag-fail. Kaya ayaw ko siyang i-take because I hate science. And now I'm here enrolled in science program. Parang there is a little to no chance of me being successful. Pero I know that this dream is a dream that I would be happy fighting for. Kasi this dream is where I would be happy without considering what other people think na bakit bigla kang nag-shift dati, gusto mo civil engineering ngayon, gusto mo mag-med. Parang, ayun kasi, magpapasaya sa akin talaga. Maybe na-pressure nyo lang ako at some point. Di ba? Parang hindi mo lang sa kanila madiretso, pero it was the pressure talaga na makaka-affect ng decision natin.
Grabe. And now that you mentioned it, that medical technology is a compilation or collaboration of all your dreams, do you think, Tiffany, that you had the wrong dream in the beginning? I mean, talaga bang gusto ko engineering, ganon? Kung ito pala yung talagang pangarap ko.
Well, actually, thinking of it now, baka nga, mali yung pangarap ko. Pero that was what's making me happy at that point.
Mm-mm.
And, you know, for me, it is valid naman. Na-dream ko siya. Though, ngayon kasi, if given a chance, I would still pursue engineering if given a chance. Pero I am more happy in this position. Alam mo yun, parang happy ako doon, pero I would be happier here. And mas kailangan ako dito, sa field na to. And in this field, I can finally contribute and utilize my skills. Ayun.
I can totally agree, no? And because at the same time, like what you mentioned earlier, there is really no wrong dream. There's only growth. Talagang I think a dream is a dream, but it always depends on what we're experiencing right now. It's not always a constant dream. Parati tayong magkakaroon ng bagong vision, parati tayong magkakaroon ng bagong goals, which will affect our dreams as well. Kaya thank you so much for pointing that out, Tiffany. And that's such a great point to say because dreams can sometimes be pressuring, right?
Yes, sobra.
Now, for a wild question, what if you're meant to become a beauty queen in the future pala? Ito na talaga yung ipo-pursue mo. And I'm talking like, for example, Miss Universe, grabe naman. Is there a dream like that, Tiffany?
Actually, there are some offers, but you know, I feel like I am more into becoming a doctor than becoming a beauty queen. Kasi I'm not saying na wala akong magagawa in pageantry kasi I have my platforms naman.
Yes.
But in medicine kasi, you will be able to do the actual work. You will be really able to help. And sa pageantry, you will be able to help. But hindi yung maximum capacity kasi you have to have the resources in order to help. Unlike in the hospital, like you can really help treat people, you can be part of their story. Alam mo yun, yung parang yun yung mismong nilolook forward ko, Pam, na mas nakikita ko yung sarili ko ngayon as a doctor. Ayan, sorry po. Sorry agad sa mga handlers na makakapanood nito.
Ako, sayang naman because I heard that you won, right? The first runner-up title in Miss ASEAN. And grabe, the beauty and the brains, of course, it really can be someday, sometime in the future. And with that being said, can you share a little bit of your experience on your Miss ASEAN journey?
Well, the Miss ASEAN journey is quite unexpected. Kasi I'm about to enter third year that time. And then I received a call from Ma'am Lian, the USA advisor, na if ever daw ba, na kaya kong i-represent ang CEU sa pageant na yun. Sabi ko, kailan po? Sabi niya, kailangan na magpasa ng video tomorrow. Kaya mo ba? Tapos parang sabi ko, tomorrow? Yeah, medyo nabigla ako dun. Tapos sabi ko, okay po ma'am, gagawin po natin ng paraan. Update ko po kayo. Then, ayun, I started making calls na, just actually, dito lang kami nag-shoot sa bahay. Tapos, nagre-require kasi sila ng mga ramp videos, ganun. So, nag-compile na lang ako kasi that time, actually, baha dito. So, hindi talaga makakapag-shoot. So, sabi ko, ano ba to? Ano ba nangyayari? Tapos, then, nung gabi din naman na yun, napasa naman namin siya. Tapos, ayun, hindi na ako nag-expect na makakapasok sa top 10 or something. But then, Ma'am Lian messaged me. Sabi niya, pasok tayo sa top 10, gano'n. Sabihin mo sa amin kung ano yung need mong help. And then, CEU supported me actually. Sa lahat ng aspect. Ayun, hanggang coronation, gano'n. Nagbibigay ng support sila Vice President Anastasio. Ayun, tas everything is a history na.
Yes, grabe. Even though the experience was unexpected, iba pa rin talaga ang epekto at naging resulta. So, let me take this time to congratulate you, Tiffany. Thank you so much for representing CEU and that regional
Thank
pageant.
you so much, Pam.
Kahit August 2021 pa yun, right?
Yeah.
Now, Tiffany, this is going to be our last Escolarian entry for this episode. Are you ready for this? Handang-handa ka pa rin mong tumanggap ng mga question.
Medyo kinabahan ako sa medyo pa last question na, pero okay Pam.
Yes, at dahil last question to, madami tayong pwede pag-usapan dito since I think we can relate to this as student leaders and students as well. So, the tweet says, thoughts on hustle culture. The idea of on tayo nag-work, kahit sobrang nakakapagod na, work pa rin tayo. But before that, for everyone's information, hustle culture as defined on the internet is also known as burnout culture and grind culture. Hustle culture refers to the mentality that one must work all day, every day in pursuit of their professional goals. We're still students, Tiffany, but we're no exemption to this, I'm sure. So, have you fallen into trap of this hustle culture?
For me, at this phase in my life, I don't think that I am falling into this culture kasi multiple responsibilities can take so much from us. It is really exhausting, but it can be refueled then through a day out with friends or just a nap. Diba? Pero parang at some point, we need to rest as well. Kasi as a young adult, aminin man natin o hindi, we are in the phase of having multiple dreams that we want to achieve all at once. Mm-hmm. And it is not wrong to dream big. Actually, we can have dreams as many as we can. But we need to do it one step at a time. Kasi if we try to juggle it all at once, we'll be prone to exhaustion. Ayun nga, makakalimutan na natin na nandito tayo sa present ngayon. And nagmamatter din tong present, hindi lang yung future natin, di ba?
Yes, always, Tiffany. Thank you so much, Tiffany. It's very nice to know that you're not one to fall into trap of this hustle culture, as we say, because I, for one, have experienced a lot of burnout episodes since madami nga tayo laging ginagawa or we always want to grind, and I'm sure a lot of other people can relate to this as well because in the language of hustle culture, some people are called lazy if they aren't always busy. And success equates to non-stop productivity. So, Tiffany, how do you balance or how do you achieve balance in things you do? Maybe you can share some tips for our fellow Escolarians who can relate to this as well.
Ayun nga, gaya ng sabi ko kanina pa, take all the time you need to back off from your workload. Pero make sure na pagbalik mo, you'll be able to finish it well. Kasi it's not always rest day, di ba? Parang, okay, allot some day during the week na you'll focus on yourself. You'll read a book, you'll rest, you'll sleep all day, you can eat all you want. Like small breaks. Kasi hindi pwedeng all day ka mag-grind. That would be unhealthy for you too. And then siguro, improve your social skills. You need to surround yourself with people who can support you. Like your family, di ba? May intindihan nila na kung bakit ka masungit kasi maybe marami kang ginagawa. Di ba ganun? Kasi may mga times talaga na naiiba yung mood natin kasi sobrang daming workloads. But then you have your friends that will understand you, that will help you cope with your academics, ready to hang out with you. Yung mga ganong bagay. I think that would be enough to, balance and keep you motivated at the same time.
Yes, that's true. And if you're in too much pile of work, you really need to swim up or swim away from it, because kailangan importante din talaga na we take things into perspective. So thank you for your tips or your advices, Tiffany. Now, I'm just very curious because aligned with this hustle culture is the thought, yung parang thought na na-develop in social media and specifically TikTok, because there is this trend to be that girl, being that girl is someone who can prioritize themselves in a good way, to be mentally, emotionally, and physically healthy, because they spend their time on themselves and also in work, and always doing productive things. And kahit downtime mo, dapat nag-art ka o kaya dapat nag-exercise ka and all, and which is something good for ourselves because this promotes healthy habits. But for you, Tiffany, do you think this mentality puts pressure for certain individuals? Because resting, ano kasi, di ba? Iba yung definition natin ng rest. But do you think this puts pressure to us to also be that girl based on what social media or other people perceive to be?
I think as long as the pressure is in a good way, like, hindi mo masyadong ini-imitate. Like, meron kang sarili. Like, if siya nag-read ng books as a rest time, if ang coping mechanism mo is to sleep, you go sleep. Parang wag mo siya gayahin totally. Kasi if i-compare yung sarili mo sa kanya, hindi naman kayo magtutugma kasi hindi naman kayo pareho ng mga attributes and qualities. Hindi rin kayo pareho ng mga adaptive mechanisms and the way you live your lives. So, parang nonsense kung gagayahin mo siya para sa ikabubuti mo, tapos hindi naman pala yun yung mabuti para talaga sa'yo. Yes, yun siya for me.
I agree. And yung sabi mo nga, you turn pressure into something productive for you, not totally adapt to it. Parang you will transform pressure so that it will contribute something better for you. That's very great. And it's nice to hear that you think this way, because we have another question. What can you say about the trap of comparison? Have you ever felt the urge to compare your achievements to other people's and yearn to be better? I mean, ikaw ba kinumpara mo na sarili mo or na-pressure ka din sa achievements ng ibang tao?
Instead of comparing my achievements to others, I compare it to myself few years back. Kasi parang with that, I will feel refueled to achieve more. Kasi hindi ko naman to hinangad before and then I have it now. So maybe I can have something more tomorrow or next year to the following years to come. Parang ganun siya, para lang hindi ko ma-focus yung sarili ko sa success ng iba. Kasi I have my own timeline. We have our own timeline. You have your own timeline, fam. And there's this time na baka ngayon nakaka-inspire na ako ng people, hindi ko lang alam. And through the next years, baka mas marami pa yung ma-achieve ko. Unintentionally, unexpectedly. Yung mga ganung bagay.
That's very beautiful. The only comparison we accept na naman is to compare ourselves from the past. Yung kung ano ba tayo dati, okay pa ba tayo ngayon? And it really helps to put yourself into a better mental or emotional state. Kasi you only want to surpass yourself. Talagang sabi nga nila, you only surpass yourself always and not others. So, wow, that was truly an eye-opening conversation we had. And I think the 2 points I can say for our conversation: first, now is the most precious thing. And second, self-awareness is really important in helping us pursue our dreams and to help us cope with everything. So, Thank you so much for being honest and vulnerable in a topic that I think is about time to be talked about openly, not just for us Gen Z, but also for other generations as well. I had a wonderful time with you, and I'm sure everyone else agrees with me. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Bye.
Thank you so much for having me, Pam.
Thank you. Stay safe. And that's a wrap. Do you have someone in mind that you want to be featured in our show? You can comment their name and what topic you want us to discuss with them, and we'll surely get on that. Also, guys, don't forget to follow our podcast. That's Escolarian Podcast on Spotify. This episode will be available on the Escolarian Podcast next week, so be sure to check that one out. Again, Pam here, and this is CEU Friday Features.